What was your iconic revenge on your selfish boss? Back in the early 2000s, I worked for an Eastern Canadian telecom company that merged with a Western Canadian telecom company. I am hoping the old area manager sees this. In December of that year, corporation announced they were giving service reps a raise of up to $3.50. It was being given because they feared Eastern employees would join the union in the West. The raises would be administered by the area manager starting in January. Our area manager had 7 or 8 stores, so I assumed it would take a month or 2 to roll them out. In February, I started asking the area manager about the raise, and he always said soon. I asked him 5 or 6 times between February and May. Eventually, I realized he was delaying as long as possible to pump up his quarterly bonuses. In early May, I wrote a strongly worded 4-page letter and saved it for the right moment. The right moment arrived on the Friday of the May long weekend. That morning, the area manager came in, and as always, I asked about the raise. He said it would come soon. Thankfully, this man liked boasting about his Muskoka cottage, and I used it to my advantage. He mentioned he would be leaving for the cottage around noon. I asked how long the drive was. He said they planned to arrive around 3 in the afternoon. Here is where the magic happens. At 4 p.m., I opened my work email and sent my 4-page letter about how we employees were being screwed by the area manager, and why a union was becoming the only option to the direct email of the president and CEO. Saturday morning, I got to work at 7 a.m. My goal was to ruin his weekend by having the CEO tear him a new one. Instead, he was forced to drive back to Toronto from Muskoka to apologize to me and to inform me that everyone in the area would get their raise retroactive to January 1st, and that everyone from my location was getting the maximum raise. I got much more revenge than I could have imagined. We spoke outside in the parking lot, and I could see in his face he wanted me dead, but he had lost. He told me I ruined the weekend for him, and he would have appreciated if I had spoken to him first. I told him I would be glad to forward him the email I wrote to the CEO, which documents all dates and times when I did speak to him, and he blew me off. I told him he was stealing from me by delaying my raise, so I think it's fair that he had lost his bonus and his weekend sucked. At that point, I decided I owned the meeting and ended it on my terms. I said there was nothing more to discuss and that I was going into the store. I gave him the nastiest goodbye. I told him to have a great drive to Muskoka. I hear it is quite scenic, and walked away. I was not worried about retribution, as I was planning to leave in 6 to 8 months as I was commencing my career. I got numerous calls from workers in other locations thanking me, and I made sure to share the full story as no one told me to say nothing.